Welcome into the live desk on this Tuesday morning. I'm Janae Hancock here with Taylor Johnson. We are continuing to follow breaking news into the KCTV5 newsroom after a KCK police officer was hit during a car chase. As of right now, we know that he or she is still fighting for their life in a local hospital in Kansas City, Kansas. We are continuing to follow the latest developments. We are also waiting for a press conference to get underway at around 10:30 now. As soon as that press conference gets started, we will take you there live. But KCTV5's Gabby Luma has been following this story since it broke early this morning. She has more from KCK.
KCTV5's Gabby Luma here near the Kansas City, Kansas Community College campus at the intersection of College Parkway and State Avenue. State Avenue is currently closed from College Parkway to 75th Street after a male officer was hit by a suspect with a car at a high rate of speed. That officer now battling life-threatening injuries in serious condition in a local hospital. That suspect also battling injuries in an area hospital. This all happened after an officer was responding to shots fired reports this morning just after midnight. That's when he encountered the male suspect in his car armed with a handgun, led him on a chase. When that officer deployed stop sticks, the suspect hit him with his car. That chase continued until about 65th and Caw Drive, where that suspect did crash. We will have updates coming up at about 10 a.m. from Chief Carl Oakman.
And again, I do want to bring you to our website, kctv5.com. This story is currently posted on our homepage. You can also download the KCTV5 News app for breaking news alerts to come straight to your smart device. But I want to give you a better look as to where exactly this happened, where the officer was struck, and where the suspect crashed. You can see that distance there, right there on your screen. And I know that this is just a month, Taylor, since we had a tragic accident happen last month.
Yes, so according to KCK Police Chief Carl Oakman, he told us this morning that this is actually happening 30 days to the day that Deputy Elijah Ming was killed in the line of duty responding to a domestic violence call. He was a Wyandotte County Sheriff's deputy. Just a couple of weeks ago, we gave you full coverage of Deputy Ming's funeral service, which was held over at Children's Mercy Park. So just to have something like this happen once again in that area, the Wyandotte County community, he talked about just how difficult it is and the stress of having to wake up in the morning to just more news mirroring something that they just went through. So that's something else that they are dealing with right now. The positive sort of silver lining to it right now is that we know that this officer, at least from last check, is still alive. So that is, a silver lining with it. But then again, once again, just officers out there trying to protect and serve and keep our community safe, and then incidents happen like this. Chief Oakman had also talked about how the incident this morning, it was intentional. This suspect hitting the officer with their car. So it's been really tough today.
Yeah, it has been tough. And, you don't want to wake up to this on any day. This was not how we planned to start our morning. But I do also want to touch on this as far as what we know right now. Chief Oakman also did stress that there is no threat to the surrounding area. We know that there are some schools around this area as well. And this week that the community college partnered with the KCK Public School District to provide space for classes as Arrowhead Middle School is treated for their damage there. But that's what we know. We do have this all posted on our website, kctv5.com. And again, we are expecting an update from the KCK Police Department coming up at around 10:30. And as soon as they take to the podium, as soon as we see that live shot here at the live desk, we will take you there live. But for right now, we are going to get a look at your forecast. If you are preparing to head out for the day, we're going to check in with meteorologist Warren Sears, and then we'll be right back with your news headlines.
Hi there, I'm First Warren 5 meteorologist Warren Sears. Happy Tuesday. Hope you are having a fantastic start to your day so far. If you're searching for fall, well, here it is. We had a crispy start to the morning. 50 was our official low temperature at the airport, but there were many communities around, not in the metro, but around the metro, that were in the 40s, and I even saw 39 degrees in Richmond, Missouri this morning. So definitely a little shock to the system, different from what we've had recently, but a welcome change, I know, for many of us. We are still in the heart of summer. We have just shy of a month left of the summer season, but it is not feeling like it out there, at least today. Tuesday observed low this morning officially was 50. That shatters the previous record of 53, which was set back in 1910, 115 years ago. So here's a look at the kind of bigger things in the forecast. We had some patchy fog this morning. We did end up breaking that morning record low. We are watching some midweek rain chances, a couple of opportunities for some of us. This is not a widespread rain chance, though. Some of us will get beneficial rain, and others not even a drop. We have a huge cutoff in our coverage area for Wednesday night into Thursday. Later this week, it looks absolutely gorgeous. A lot to look forward to. As you get through your day today, I'm expecting lower 70s through lunch and mid to upper 70s in the afternoon. As long as the sun's up, we'll be in the 70s for the remainder of the day, and then eventually dropping back into the 50s overnight. Now, I think our high temperatures will rebound nicely even after a pretty chilly morning. 78 is your forecast high in Kansas City, but some spots might be able to push 80 degrees. As far as rain goes, not too concerned about anything today. We'll watch a larger system come by the region tomorrow. Now, the trend has consistently been to keep most of the steady and beneficial rain to the southwest of Kansas City. How far that pushes up closer to the 435 loop is the bigger question, since we are right on the fringe, but we do want to keep at least a small chance in through the evening. It looks much less likely the farther east you go, though. So a lot of you in northern Missouri, not even a single drop. If you live southwest of Kansas City into Douglas, Anderson, Franklin counties, Miami, Lynn counties, you'll have a better chance to at least pick up some rain here. And this is going to be Wednesday evening, overnight, and into Thursday morning as well. Again, we'll keep a small chance to steal a few of those showers closer to Kansas City just in case this does track a little more north or whatever it may be. But I do expect to keep cloud coverage around, and a real gloomy start to Thursday by the afternoon should dry out for everybody. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be basically nothing for quite a few of us, and then a good amount for a few select counties. In the Kansas City metro, I'm not going to promise too much here. We might be able to pick up 1/10 of an inch if one of those showers decides to come through. But the farther north you go up 35 and the farther east you go on 70, not a whole lot here. But if you go west on 70 and southwest on 35 into the Flint Hills and Emporia, that looks to be where they'll pick up a lot more rain. So it's a very sharp gradient, and it's going to be a vastly different picture for a lot of us through the rest of Wednesday evening and then Thursday morning as well. So this keeps us cool as well. Tuesday at 78, we'll have that chilly morning turn to a nice, beautiful afternoon. 80 on Wednesday, but that evening rain chance is present. And Thursday, 76. The entire next 7-day stretch is really comfortable. You are going to really enjoy it, unless maybe you're a fan of the heart of summer feel, because that is gone, at least this week. A look at our rainfall check. Since August 1st, only about 0.83 inches of rain at the airport. Normally, we're at 3.31. So as you can tell, that's a pretty big deficit, about 2.5 inches shy of what we normally do for August. So we need some rain, but at the airport with this next system Wednesday night into Thursday, I really am not expecting to pick up a whole lot from it. There still could be a shift, so it's something we'll watch for, but at this point, it's looking like most of the heavier, steadier, more measurable rain will stay just out of reach. That Security Bank 7-day forecast every single day in the 70s or low 80s. The warmest temp I have is 81, and that is on Labor Day next Monday. Mornings cool and comfortable in the 50s and low 60s. That one rain opportunity Wednesday evening into Thursday at this point is the only bigger system that I'm seeing. So we'll see if anything develops for next weekend, but really comfortable conditions. Right now you've got the green light for any sort of Labor Day long weekend plans that you may have. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you have a great afternoon. Enjoy this beautiful stretch. Give that AC a break. Open up the windows a little bit. Humidity stays low as well, which is a nice treat. Have a great afternoon.
Again, that was meteorologist Warren Sears. We do have this live shot coming in from KCK this morning. We are waiting for an update from the police department as far as that officer that was unfortunately struck by a car. A suspect fleeing the scene hit that officer. Last check, we told you that he had life-threatening injuries. We are waiting for that update right now. And again, as soon as they take to the podium, we will take you there live with special coverage here at KCTV5. But for now, I do want to go to the social media platform X, where we are starting to receive reaction. We are starting to see local officials speaking out about this. You can see this one coming in from Mayor Quentin Lucas of Kansas City, Missouri, saying that prayers this morning for a KCK police officer seriously injured after a fleeing suspect apparently intentionally struck him. The suspect is thankfully in custody. I do want to move on to this next tweet coming in from Todd Thompson. As we know, he is an attorney. He said that our thoughts and prayers are with the officer with KCK Police Department headquarters after being struck by a suspect's vehicle fleeing the scene. Every officer puts their life on the line each day to protect us. They should never have to wonder if they will make it home safely. And Taylor, that is what we have been saying all morning long, is that they put their lives truly on the line every single day just to make sure that our community stays safe. And so we hate to see stories like this, and we are just hoping for the best here.
Yes, we certainly are. And, as we just talked about a few minutes ago, again, just coming at a time where just a month ago, the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office lost Deputy Elijah Ming.
That's
so
right.
we heard this morning from KCK Police Chief Oakman today that this is 30 days to the time that happened. But again, just as you mentioned, and as it was said in that tweet from Mr. Thompson there, that you never want to wonder if you're going to make it home, just going
Right.
out and doing your job. But again, officers do sacrifice so much, and not just them, their families too.
Right.
When it comes down to them serving our communities, and it really is unfortunate that it has escalated to this level.
This point where that officer is dealing with life-threatening injuries. And as Mayor Quentin Lucas has already touched on, we do know that the suspect is in custody. As far as their exact condition, we don't know that. We are still working to get answers here in the KCTV5 newsroom, and that's something that we can promise you. Something else that we can promise you is that we are waiting for that press conference to get underway. It is set to get started at around 10:30. I do know that we're going to actually take you live out to the studio downstairs with Bill Hurlbrink as well as Carolina Cruz. They will bring you that coverage. So just hang on tight here with us. We are going to take a quick break here at the live desk, but when we come back, we will continue with our coverage as far as this breaking news coming in overnight. A KCK officer fighting for their life after being struck by a vehicle.
All right, thank you for staying with us here at the live desk. Now, again, in about a little less than 15 minutes, we are expecting an update from Kansas City, Kansas police about the officer who was seriously hurt this morning after being hit by a car during a chase. So as soon as we get that, we're going to bring it to you. But meanwhile, we do have a lot of other things that are happening in the metro right now. So we're going to start with power and light. They're really being talked about there because of a deadly weekend shooting and the growing violence in the district. 2 people died and 3 others were hurt, including a juvenile early Sunday morning. This is kind of near the Grand Apartments, not too far from the T-Mobile Center. KCTV5's Morgan Rydell joins us from 13th and Grand.
I'm Morgan Rydell here at the corner of 13th and Grand, where a deadly shooting happened early Sunday morning. Residents living at the Grand Apartments here woke up to hear around 150 gunshots. Bullet holes even struck that apartment. And the city has been working to improve security at this lot for months. Mayor Lucas announced a new ordinance to target lots just like this one and improve safety measures. The owner of this lot, he actually has taken steps to already do that. We already saw security guards on site this morning and that new surveillance system right there in the parking lot. But of course, this was just steps he has taken. If this ordinance passes in September, this is going to be something we could start seeing citywide.
And continuing on with our news headlines this morning to another developing story out of downtown. A man is facing charges after allegedly firing a gun at a car with 2 kids inside. Prosecutors charged Lonnie Waits with 2 counts of first-degree assault. Police say that he was part of a group of ATV and dirt bike riders who followed the car and demanded the driver to pull over. 2 adults were shot, but the 14 and 2-year-old inside weren't hit. Waits will be in court on September 2nd.
Frustration grows for families at a local middle school after they learn students may not be able to go back to the building for more than a month. Arrowhead Middle School has been closed since a boiler room fire last week. The students are now in class at the Kansas City, Kansas Community College's Performing Arts Center. The district says that'll be the case for the next 4 to 6 weeks. It also marks the 3rd building that kids have had to learn in after they went to home field last week. Parents are afraid, though, that this could affect their kids' learning.
And in North St. Louis County, 5 people are hurt and a dog is dead after an explosion rocked an entire neighborhood. At least 20 homes were damaged, and an 18-year-old man is fighting for his life in the hospital right now. Fire crews are searching for more potential victims among the rubble. None of the homes damaged have water or power, and it is not believed that this was caused by a gas leak. Investigators are continuing to work to find out what exactly caused this explosion.
Mandatory paid sick leave will end this week in Missouri, putting an end to a voter-approved policy just months after it went into effect. Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill repealing the law, which goes into effect on Thursday. But there is a mixed bag of opinions. Critics, they say the move overturns the will of the voters. However, those for this say that the benefits outweigh the cost for employers.
Businesses being empowered to do what they know is right for them, what they know is right for their employees, I think is the biggest takeaway.
The benefits are really enormous, including increased productivity, fewer workplace injuries, reduced spread of illness in the workplace, as well as less turnover.
Efforts are already underway to get mandatory paid sick leave on the November ballot for 2026.
Esports are coming to Kansas, and Lawrence schools are considering jumping on board. Competitive gaming became popular enough that colleges offer scholarships. The Kansas State High School Activities Association recently sanctioned it as an official activity beginning this school year. KCTV5's Betsy Webster is in Lawrence, where the board heard more from students who have been competing at the club level.
The piece that seemed most moving for a lot of the board members is how esports can get kids who wouldn't otherwise be involved in school activities to feel that sense of connection. But this was just the first of several meetings, and a few of the board members wanted to get a better picture of what it was going to cost and where that money's coming from. This Rocket League match was the final game of the club team season last school year. The car named One Light Bulb is Travis Matthews, the team captain.
Our players look forward to playing every year. It keeps them motivated, it keeps them hungry.
Esports is no joke. There are arena-style competitions like this Global Halo Championship at Bartle Hall with $250,000 up for grabs. Park U began offering scholarships more than 5 years ago. KU and Mizzou also have varsity teams. The nationwide list is in the hundreds. KCK has sanctioned 3 games for this: Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Rocket League. They say that it is a go if they can get 24 teams signed up by October 7th, and they have 20 so far. In Lawrence, Kansas, Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.
All right, so we are working on getting some new details for you on that breaking news that we've been following this morning. Just to remind you who might just be joining us, or maybe you haven't heard about this yet. So we are hearing about a police officer who was seriously hurt this morning after a chase over in KCK. So this happened around midnight. The suspect involved, we are told, hit this officer with their car before they ended up crashing at another location later in the morning. So the suspect is said to have been driving east on State Avenue where the officer was deploying stop sticks. The suspect then reportedly drove over the sticks, a median, and into the officer before crashing near 65th and Caw Drive, where he was then transported to a nearby hospital in serious condition. But we have been following this all morning. According to the chief of police in KCK, that officers were initially responding to the sounds of gunshots in the area, and once they got there, that's when they found a suspect armed inside his car. So this was near KCK Community College, where this all started, and then ended with the suspect crashing at 65th and Caw Drive. That suspect has been taken into custody. But again, we do have a press conference that is coming up soon, but we do have a breaking update coming in right now.
Yeah, so let's jump straight to that. I'm sorry, I want to jump in here.
Yeah.
So we do have this information coming in from the Kansas Association of Chiefs of Police. You can see that information right here on your screen. An unfortunate update that we were just hoping we would not hear today. This morning at around 1:15 this morning, one of our officers, again, this is coming in from the Kansas Association, attempted to throw stop sticks for a pursuit. The suspect struck our officer, killing him. The suspect continued to drive away and was eventually taken into custody after he crashed his vehicle. It has only been 1 month since we laid our Wyandotte County Sheriff's Deputy Elijah Ming to rest. Within the next week, we will honor this officer and his sacrifice. Please keep the men and women of the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department in your thoughts and prayers as we go through this difficult time yet again.
Yes, and this officer we know has not been identified just yet. We do have a press conference that's coming up soon, so I'm sure we'll get additional details as it relates to that. But again, as Janae just read from this statement, and even as she said, sharing that news, this is not what we were hoping to share with you all this morning, especially after Deputy Ming. We were just honoring his life a couple of weeks ago with his funeral service. And so it's just been a really hard time for the Wyandotte County community as a whole, KCK Police and the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office. So we're going to hear more from police soon on this. But once again, a KCK police officer has been killed. This has been confirmed by the Kansas Association of Chiefs of Police, which is the statement that Janae just read to you.
And again, them just saying, please keep that department in your prayers. But I want to go back to what you said as well, Taylor, the family as well, the friends, the loved ones. This is just so hard. And we were, again, just going back to the fact that this happened in Wyandotte County just 1 month ago today. And to know that that community is still picking up the pieces, still grieving right now. And now you have a whole nother police department that has to do the exact same thing 1 month later.
Yes, just from doing their jobs.
Yeah. Paying the ultimate sacrifice. And, we do have a comment on here. Someone actually brought up this name, Richard James Aston, Sergeant Richard James Aston. End of watch, June 11th, 1998. We're seeing very similar stories here. He was with the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, and he was killed after being intentionally struck by a stolen vehicle on 98th Street near the entrance to the Wyandotte County Fairgrounds. He was attempting to deploy stop sticks in the street when the driver of a car intentionally turned and struck him, throwing him 250 feet down the street. So we're seeing some parallels here, but just so unfortunate. But again, sending our best to everyone in the community that knew him, everyone in the community that is grieving right now after hearing this news. That KCK officer that we have been reporting on all morning long since the news broke early this morning has unfortunately passed away from his injuries. So we do know that the suspect is in custody as far as their condition. We don't know that just yet. But again, we are waiting for that press conference to get underway in KCK right now. It is actually set to get underway in about 2 minutes. Again, KCTV5's Carolina Cruz as well as Bill Hurlbrink will bring you that coverage from our studio downstairs. So we are going to hang tight on this press conference shot. And as soon as our coverage here at KCTV5 gets started, we will take you there live. So as we wait for this press conference to get underway with the KCK Police Department, we mentioned that this story is unfortunately very similar to Sergeant Richard James Aston. He passed away in 1998. He was killed in 1998 in a very similar way. It actually looks like they are getting ready to get started. So I'm going to hold off for a second. We're going to hang on this live shot. And if they don't get started in around 20 seconds, then and it looks like they are. So we're just going to wait for this press conference to get started. Alrighty, so it's very similar to Sergeant Aston. We have been covering this story since it happened back in 1998. We just want to bring it to you all for those who may not be familiar. Here it is.
Sergeant Richard Aston died while trying to throw these stop sticks to catch two car thieves on June 11, 1998. Police say Tracy Marquis and Michael Turks intentionally turned and hit Aston, throwing him several hundred feet. Marquis and Turks were convicted.
It's been 18 years and I feel like it happened yesterday. I still have flashbacks to that day and that funeral.
Liz Murray holds on to old photos of the good times when her dad wasn't a fallen hero. She even traced her father's name that is carved into the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C.
All the papers hailed my dad a hero. Well, he was my dad. To me, that's more than a hero.
Her heart broke again when yet another KCK officer died yesterday protecting his community.
They're planning a funeral, and that's heartbreaking that another family has to go through this.
She wants the harshest punishment for Brad Lancaster's accused killer.
I hope that no family ever has to endure the court trials, everything. I actually wish the guy had died.
She also wants to send thoughts, prayers, and compassion to the Lancaster family.
Lean on your support system, the KCK PD, your family. I wasn't able to accept that help right away. It takes time.
It's just so eerie, the similarities to these two stories. The one that we are covering today, a KCK officer who was killed this morning after being hit by a car during a chase with a suspect, and then the story of Richard Aston from 1998, also deploying stop sticks, which is such a similar fashion, and just heartbreaking to even hear the story. I believe you said that story was from 2016.
Yeah.
And pain like that almost 30 years ago, it just never goes away.
Yeah, a situation that has happened far too often right here in our very own community. And again, just so very similar. And it just seems like a lot that's with Elijah Ming last month, and then this happening just 1 month exactly. And then a situation that happened very similar back in 1998. It is just very, very sad. And again, sending our best to the police department, sending our best to the family, to the friends, to the loved ones, all who knew this man. Again, we don't have their name just yet. We just know that it is a man that unfortunately passed away, a KCK police officer. But again, we are waiting for that press conference to get underway from the headquarters there in KCK. And as soon as we see them take to the podium, we'll be sure to bring you that live.
Out of Kansas City, Kansas, where one of their police officers was struck by a fleeing suspect's vehicle early this morning.
A press conference is expected to begin at any moment now, where we are expected to learn more about the condition of that officer and more details. But here's what we know so far about what happened this morning. This began at 75th and State Avenue just after midnight. Officers were originally responding to a gunshot alert. It was with their detection systems that they have. So they were there to investigate. That's how all of this began. That officer arrived and then found the suspect, who was armed, in a car. And there are multiple scenes to this. So that's when the suspect then took off, beginning a police pursuit.
The officer was then trying to deploy stop sticks near State Avenue and Campus Boulevard. That is the south exit and entrance to Kansas City, Kansas Community College. The suspect avoided the spike strips, and what the police chief told us early this morning, drove intentionally at the KCK police officer there, struck them, and then continued on, eventually crashing near 65th and Caw Drive, where that suspect was taken into custody. Neither the officer or the suspect's name has been released. Again, we're expected to learn that momentarily here with this press conference at the KCK police headquarters.
And our KCTV5's Morgan Rydell was the one who obtained this scene video right here for us. This is 65th and Caw. That's where that suspect car crashed. Morgan, what have you been able to see out on scene here this morning?
Yeah, so this scene here just wrapped up. I mean, not even 10 minutes ago. This was a very active scene right here. This is where all of this chase ended. Right here in this ditch here is where the suspect's vehicle was when we found it, with law enforcement here on scene this morning. We got out here right around 8 o'clock. I want you to take a look at this video, though. You can see the suspect's vehicle on its side in this ditch here. It was a big task for law enforcement out here to get that car out of the ditch. It took them hours. I mean, I said we got here at 8. This whole ordeal started early this morning, and they just got this car removed from the area. And I know we're going to hear more about what happened here today, so we're going to head it over to our team over at KCK headquarters.
To give you an update regarding the incident that occurred last night. Officers, just a quick recap, officers were dispatched in the area 7700 block of Everett regarding a shots fired call. This was an alert that we received from our gunshot detection system. Upon arrival, officers located an unconscious man in a vehicle, in a truck, that as the officers approached, the driver of the vehicle woke up and fled the scene. A brief pursuit ensued. The driver then abandoned a vehicle and got into another vehicle that was stashed in the woods. We believe both vehicles were stolen and continued to flee. During the pursuit, two officers attempted to deploy stop sticks at 7200 State. One officer, Officer Hunter Samasic, deployed stop sticks, and as he deployed stop sticks, which is normal procedure, is to get out of danger, which he did, went to the median. The suspect continued through the stop sticks and veered his vehicle directly at Officer Samasic, striking him. At the scene, Officer Samasic was transported to KU Medical Center, where he eventually died as a result of his injuries. This was an intentional act, a willful act to evade custody by striking the officer. The officer, as you can see from the photo, and I'll talk more about Officer Samasic, age 26, he's from Galesburg, Kansas, graduated the KCK PD Academy in November of 2023. And this is from his actual graduation program, where we have officers write why they wanted to be an officer. Hunter chose to become an officer so he could take what he learned in life to make positive changes in a community he believes truly deserved it and served as a mentor for youth. He would like to thank his parents for installing ethics such as character, hard work, and grit, as well as life tools he needed to pursue his career. He graduated from Pittsburgh State University with a BS in sociology and a master's in forensic science from Oklahoma State University. Before the academy, Hunter worked for the Southeast Kansas Regional Juvenile Detention Center as a shift supervisor. The individual who struck Hunter was taken into custody around 6400 Call Drive after being involved in an accident. That individual was arrested for the suspicion of first-degree murder, vehicular homicide, fleeing or attempting to elude police officer, theft, and criminal possession of a firearm. These charges are pending. The driver was identified as Dennis Mitchell III, age 31. This is devastating to this community. It's devastating to the unified government. It's devastating to the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. It is equally devastating when you have to look into the face of the family and tell them this. They are heartbroken, and you see it on their face. It is something as a police chief you never want to do. And I dread getting that call last night about Hunter. So this community, this department, we will need a lot of prayer and we will need a lot of support. We just dealt with this 30 days, a month ago to the date with Deputy Mean. And moving forward, this will be investigated by the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, and we will send out a more detailed synopsis of what happened last night. And just wanted to say a few more words about Hunter. 26, good kid, volunteered to read. He read at Banneker Elementary once a week, and it's just difficult. It makes no sense. I have no words for it. Makes absolutely no sense. So at this time, I'll turn it over to the mayor. And we'll take questions after the mayor speaks.
This is another sad day here in Kansas City, Kansas. Hunter Seminek, Kansas City, Kansas police officer, 26 years old, young man, a son and a brother. And I feel the chief's pain. I feel the pain of our Kansas City, Kansas police officers. We have a lot of good police officers here in Kansas City, Kansas. He was one of them, doing his job to keep this community safe. Senseless, unnecessary come to mind. Shameful acts of violence in our community. A young man that came to work and, like everybody else, wanted to go home. And he was denied that. through senseless, unnecessary violence. It hurts me as mayor, and this is something that's hard for me. And the chief said it best. I went to the hospital. What words do you say to a family? A brother, a mother, and a father grieving. Knowing that that life has been snuffed out, and it didn't have to be. To hear the stories of this young man from his family, of always wanting to be a public safety professional. And he chose Kansas City, Kansas, because he loved people. He loved this community. And unfortunately, he gave the ultimate sacrifice. And he shouldn't have had to. A young man that dedicated his time, and I talked to the chief's wife who worked with him. Outside of his time as a police officer, would go and read and mentor children in schools. That says a lot about the type of individual he was. It says a lot about the leadership here at the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. And it says a lot about the men and women that put their lives on the line every day to keep this community safe in a variety of ways. That family, his family, this police department, and this community, we couldn't even get past 30 days. I don't want to hear enough is enough. It just needs to stop. My heart hurts for this police department, for our chief, for his command staff, for all the men and women of the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, for all our public safety professionals, for our community. We're right back again, mourning the death of one of our heroes. And he was one of our heroes. I just don't have a lot of words to say to comfort this community. And sometimes saying thoughts and prayers just isn't enough. Because it's going to take a lot more than that. Let's support our public safety professionals. Let's support the family of Hunter in any way we can think of. Because talking to that family, they are devastated beyond anything you could ever imagine. They are devastated. The men and women of this police department are devastated. This community is hurting once again. Whatever we can do to support our chief and all the men and women of the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, please show them love and show them support. But more importantly, show the family of Hunter even more love and support, because they have a long road ahead to navigate through this process. A process that never really heals, because that life can never be brought back. I want to thank our fire department for doing everything they could to preserve the life of Officer Hunter. I want to thank all the medical professionals that I talked to that worked hard to do everything they could to preserve the life of Hunter. He wasn't just a police officer. He was a member of our community, our neighbor, our friend, Let's not forget his sacrifice. Let's not forget the pain of this police department. Let's not forget the pain that his family is enduring. And family, let's continue to uplift. Our sheriff is still, and the sheriff's department is dealing with the loss. Our entire public safety community here in Kansas City, Kansas is really struggling right now. And we're struggling with them as a community. As a mayor, this is really hard for me to have to do this. And I want to encourage all the men and women that are law enforcement professionals. Hunter would want you to keep doing the great things that he did. He would want you to keep it on and staying encouraged to keep this community safe. He would want you to keep being that good neighbor, mentoring kids like so many of you do, engaging in every positive way with your neighbors, in your churches, at your stores, outside of the uniform. The things that a lot of people don't see. But I know you do. And I know to honor him, stay encouraged and keep doing good for this community, because the good people in this community, the law-abiding people in this community, we value your service, we appreciate you, and we know that we need you. And Hunter was a part of that family. To honor his legacy, I just ask everyone, pray, thoughts, but more importantly, let's support the family of Hunter Simonic and the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department as they work hard. And I mean, it's going to be hard for them to navigate through the long road ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a few questions if you have them.
Chief, first of all, I'm so sorry. This is Alex to all of you. Can you tell us about the suspect? Is he known to you? Does he have a record?
Well, right now, it's preliminary that the KBI is still working that investigation, which includes detailed records checks and so on. We're not going to get in the middle of their investigation. We did know that he did have some outstanding warrants on top of what he did, but more details that come out as the investigation gets close to being completed.
And so did Officer Simonic have children? Did he have a wife? Did he have a partner?
No children, no wife. He's got mother, father, and a brother.
Just how devastating. I mean, we're talking about 30 days to the day since you lost Sheriff being an integral part of this community, and now you lose 26-year-old police officer.
Well, you look at it this way. You can't explain things, but even you look at Hunter, even knowing what happened 30 days ago, he still continued to do his job and risk his life for this community. We're all devastated. And when you think about that, several of us up here has served as law enforcement officers, and we don't think about the danger. Well, in hindsight, you might look at it and say, oh, I was in the middle of this. But if the same situation happened the next day, you're right there doing it. And I think with Hunter, this was a situation that we do across the metro thousands of times a year, deploying stop sticks. And this individual felt the need to run Hunter down and kill him. And that is not a vehicle accident. This was an intentional act of homicide. on a police officer.
Can I just ask you one more? Can you talk about the toll, the psyche? I know that you guys know the job that you sign up for when you decide to be a police officer, but when you do see what happened to Sheriff Deputy Me, now you see what kind of toll does that take on the psyche of?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, we still have officers that have not come back to work from the death of Deputy Me. And now we have officers who actually witnessed that happen, and officers that did first aid on Officer Samancic. So it is very difficult. I mean, it's one of those things that we're going to all have to come together like we do and give support and offer whatever resources we can, and then just hopefully they can come back to work. Because a lot of times the officers are not able to come back to work. When you talk about that emotional toll that's being placed on them, a lot of times they cannot come back to work. But this community needs law enforcement officers. This metro needs law enforcement officers.
Chief, as well, just first of all expressing my most sincere condolences to all of you. I just wanted to clarify, you had mentioned something about the suspect being taken into custody after being involved in an accident. Is that the same accident we're referring to? Is that another incident? How soon after?
No, after that, he continued to pursue, and he got in the accident while he was fleeing from the officers, and we were able to take him into custody.
The KPI has issued a release. They're probably issuing it to your newsrooms right now. I have a copy of it. So a lot of the things the chief went through, I know everybody was frantically taking notes, are contained in this release, and I will distribute it to you all as soon as we're finished.
Chief, again, so sorry for your loss. And can you detail when an officer or officers deploy stop sticks, could you detail that protocol and the safety precautions they take?
Yeah, well, first of all, the stop sticks is a safety device, because what it does is it allows us to safely bring a pursuit to termination by slowly deflating the air out of the tires. And officers get extensive training on the proper way to deploy those stop sticks. You can drop them, there's a string, you can pull them back so other cars won't run over them. And Officer Samancic followed the policy. There's very few precautions that you can take when someone is deliberately trying to run you over. And unfortunately, that was the case. He deployed the sticks, got in the median, and was going to a whole nother lane of traffic. And this individual directly, at high speed, basically pursued him down and struck him.
Have you guys been able to determine if Mr. Mitchell, the one that you guys have had in custody, was the person firing the gun that initiated the response from KCK?
We're not sure, but he was in illegal possession of a firearm.
Chief, what groups, communities, people do you lean on for support in times like these? Who's usually answering the call?
Well, I think officers, we lean on each other, our peer support, each other. And one thing, myself, I lean on my wife, my son. I got a son that's an officer at KCMO, so I lean on my wife and my two sons. And one of the things we really try to do at KCK PD is really create that family atmosphere. Even when we do our community events, we encourage our officers to bring their families and really fellowship together, because that family bond is very important in law enforcement. You really need your family to support you when you have situations like this. So we work with the fire department, we work with the sheriff's department, and with our peer support teams, our families, to give our resources for that support. So it's very important, and I think family really is the key.
That's an interesting question, and I think it's a profound question. The chief is right. The law enforcement community, they lean on each other. But I want everybody to know these are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are our church members. These are people that live here in our community. They need to know that they don't just have to rely and lean on each other. Community, support our police department, our sheriff's department, all our public safety professionals. They need more than just their family. They need the entire community to show support, to show respect, to show love for the job and the service that they provide, that many people don't want to do, and I've said it before, and that many people can't do. But they do it honorably every day. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We pay our officers to do a job, but what we don't pay them to do is to get abused, beat up, and murdered anywhere, and it needs to stop. So my call to action as your mayor, now more than ever, our sheriff, our chief, and all the men and women that are called public safety professionals, and that's what I like to call them. My call to action to Wyandotte County and Kansas City, Kansas, do whatever you can to support the officers in public safety, because right now they need it. They are hurting. We're still expecting them to go out and do a job, and they will. But take time to let them know that you love them, you support them, and anything that you can do to uplift them in a positive way. Let's make sure that we do that. And not forget the families of Officer Ming, or Deputy Ming, and Hunter Simonich. Because more than anything else, those families are struggling, and I can tell you, looking in family members' eyes and trying to console them, there's no words to heal the pain and the devastation that they're dealing with. A job as mayor that I don't ever want to have to do again. Because I hurt for those families, I hurt for all our public safety professionals. So to answer your question, it takes all of us. And so all of us come together and support our public safety professionals.
And then just to add a little to that, we do have an employee assistance program as well as a full-time wellness officer that's there and available to help.
Chief, could we expect to see a procession leaving the hospital today, or what's going to go into the plans for memorials or anything else to honor the life of Officer Hunter and his family?
Yeah, we just completed the procession to the mortuary from the hospital. But as today's in the near future, we will sit down with the family and start planning those funeral arrangements. We've already been preliminary discussing dates and locations with the family, so we will have that all here shortly.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's hard to put into words. When you were speaking to Officer Hunter's family, what did you try to say to them as comfort, or what did they talk to you about to try to help everyone through this tragic time?
Well, you know, really the good thing with this was there was some relationship there. I spent a lot of time with his father when he graduated the academy. He was so proud, and he told me that Hunter really worked hard in his life. He had to work a little harder than others, and he said he really appreciated the support and being welcome to the KCK Police Department. And then even my wife had the opportunity to share with his mother because he would tell his mother about the reading program that he was a part of that my wife oversaw, and he really explained that to his mother a lot. So we were able to really talk to his mother about that, and it really lifted their spirits for a moment. But the main message to the family is they're not alone. They got the support and the power of the entire KCK Police Department and our KCK community, unified government, and that we're all here to support them. So that was the main message. And you know, there were some things that really, like the father, he really wanted to meet Hunter's supervisor. So these are some little tidbits, because his supervisor, Hunter, would go and tell his father about how he had this utmost respect for his supervisor. And so we got the supervisor back, and the supervisor didn't even know it. So it was really a heartfelt moment between those two that they got to share.
I'm sorry, what was the name of the school?
All right, we're going to go ahead and dip away from the press conference here. You're listening to words from Kansas City, Kansas Police Chief Carl Oakman here on the death of one of his police officers. 26-year-old Hunter Simoncic was killed early this morning when he was trying to deploy stop sticks to bring a police pursuit to an end. And again, that was the press conference where we heard from both the chief of police there and the unified government mayor, Tyrone Gardner, who was a former police officer himself.
Yeah, and I think the whole mood of both Chief Oakman and also Mayor Gardner, it seemed a little deflated, angry, and frustrated by the situation. I think what wrapped it up perfectly was something the mayor said. He said, I just don't have a lot of words to comfort this community. We're coming on exactly 1 month, July 26th, which was when Wyandotte County Sheriff's Deputy Elijah Ming was killed after being shot. He said we couldn't even make it 30 days.
Yeah.
And I think that just calls, you know, the community to, he said, protect our officers, do better in our community. He said the prayers and, you know, thoughts are nice, but it's going to take a lot more than that. He said this has to stop. He obviously thinking of Elijah Ming today, but also Hunter Simoncic's family, the officer who was killed here just hours ago. He said they are devastated beyond anything that you can ever imagine. He hadn't even celebrated 2 years on the force. He graduated from the academy, we're told, in November of 2023. He would have been coming up here on his 2 years from the academy. So, I mean, you can imagine his family devastated.
Yeah, we want to go back for some context here. The last two police officers from the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department to die in the line of duty were Captain Robert David Melton. He was shot and killed back in July of 2016. Detective Brad Lancaster, if you remember, was shot just about 2 months before that out near Kansas Speedway. Now, before that, you have to go all the way back to June 11th of 1998 when Richard Aston was killed by vehicular assault along 99th Street by back then what was the old Wyandotte County Fairgrounds. If you remember, that road has his name attached to it, as that's where that happened. Now, we do want to take...
Okay, let's talk about, obviously we want to focus our attention on Hunter Simoncic, but we also want to paint a picture of who is behind all of this. Dennis Mitchell is the man who's accused in this case. We are told that he had fallen asleep. It was when the first scene they found him. He's behind bars right now. He is pending charges. This is 31-year-old Dennis Mitchell, and we'll have much more coming up here in your news at noon as we, of course, learn more about this case. We're going to step away from our coverage here on KCTV5. We'll return to more live, of course, at noon, and we'll also bring you any live alerts on KCTV5 Plus. You can find that on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.